Hey, good evening, Tewksbury. It is Thursday, January 22nd, 6:01 p.m. We're calling this meeting of the Tewksbury Board of Health to order. The meeting is being held via Microsoft Teams and also live streamed on your local channels. So I'll do a roll call for members present. So myself is Melissa Braga, Chair.
Susan Amato, Vice Chair. Did you hear me?
Yep. So we're gonna do roll call, so you all just say who you are and who's present and
Chris Janacek, member.
Pamela Fave, member.
George?
George, you're on mute.
Okay, yes, George Ferdinand, clerk.
And Shannon Gillis is also here.
Shannon Gillis, health director.
Thank you. All right, so quorum is present. We will proceed. So tonight's agenda is for the purpose to update and discuss some comments and that were put through with some filings. So first one is the filing from the Hill. So it was a motion for partial summary decision that were from the interveners De Palma and Sheehan, where they're asking the citing board to rule that it does not have authority to waive section 5.6 of Tewksbury zoning bylaw. From my understanding of what I read, and I'm not sure if everybody read it, and Shannon, you can put your info on there as well, is that it's more because that section is not ordinary zoning, but the local implementation of state and federal Safe Drinking Water Act protects for Zone 2. And then there was stuff about including 15% impervious surface limit and the requirement of artificial recharge and a special permit review for hazardous materials and stormwater. There is a lot of verbiage in there. It's 33 pages. There is the motion actually pointed out that the current best design would render about 36% of the parcel impervious, more than double the 15% threshold, and that the plans as described do not include that type of artificial recharge system or stormwater best practices from our bylaw and Mass DEP's model language. It also urged the plans do not show a self-contaminant area to hold firefighting, water, and chemicals on site. This is their motion, not our words. This is from that side. So as we're interveners in this case, our past filings had stated that we're neutral and we continue to stay neutral. And our mission is to protect public health. So there is the focus on this Zone 2 and drinking water part and the wetlands, drainage pathways, all those, and I am not an expert on that. So I guess for tonight it's really to kind of see where we are, where our concerns are, who has read, any questions that we may or may not have, and then how we would like to submit any comments, if we want to submit any comments on this motion. And I would highly recommend that we keep them purely health focused and neutral on any of the legality part of it, and keep it from a public health standpoint. So, Shannon, do you want to add anything to this?
I don't think so. I feel like you covered the part that would ER comments and concerns.
Right. I think that, well, that 5.6 part was the biggest thing that would pertain to us as a Board of Health as far as being able to comment on the legalities of it. There were they were urging that they don't like, so that the EFSB doesn't have litigation over this. However, that is, and I don't want to say like what the EFSB does or doesn't have legalities too. I mean, we're in this hearing with them. So not really certain. And again, this is new for me. So, yeah. I'll open
So
it up
can-
to
can I ask-
discussion.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
I just have, I know I've gone through a lot of this, and yes, it's mind-boggling, and I'm trying to stick to just the health and safety provisions and not get hung up on anything else. But I thought that even after, if by chance they are approved by the sitting board, I thought they still had to go through and through the town's guidance, whether or not they would object to anything. And I thought that when you were talking about the section 5.6, wouldn't that fall under the local code? So maybe it doesn't pass the local code. Maybe it passes the sitting board for some reason, but doesn't it have to go through the local channel as well? Am I right or no?
My understanding is that, and I could be wrong, and Shannon, that it would bypass. Is that your understanding?
So 5.6, the stormwater, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
I know DPW looked at it and gave comments already. Because groundwater protection, I know stormwater's their purview, but Hillman will be, if the project's approved, they will have to go before conservation. And that's the only local jurisdiction sort of that the town has.
So
Okay.
would it, so it's possible that conservation may say that that can't be done. Am I off track here? I mean,
I know they'd have to get a permit to be within the
Is it
buffer
100?
zone,
right. I think it's 100 feet.
100
isn't it?
feet, yes.
Because I'm looking at all of these and I'm just not sure if it really does all fall under the EFSB. I feel like they may approve certain things, but I feel that they still have to go through their test, follow other regulations in the town or the state or
Yeah, because so from my understanding is that they're saying that basically they're asking or stating that EFSB to rule that it cannot waive section 5.6 because it implements Safe Drinking Water Act,
Right.
that 15%. And then their exhibit A, that showed that that it was critical, I think, for decarbonization, but in the zone 2, it has to meet extra conditions, which it on that, it's stating that it's not. So, I mean, I don't know if we have the, I don't even want to say authority, but kind of the authority to say, I mean, we can, I wouldn't like, it's kind of like we could ask that they not waive 5.6 or that we can, recommend kind of conditions and safeguards. Because I mean,
I think that's where we're going. Because what we're trying to do is pull together our recommendations. So I think that's exactly where we're going, to look at some of these that just hone into health and safety and look at what they're asking and seeing what's best for our Department of Health and Safety.
Yeah, I have a couple of things that have been running through my mind that one of them, I mean, I think it kind of directly applies. So I asked the fire chief specifically if they're, and Hillman, if their thought was that they let fires burn out now. Okay. So, and he said, yes, they do. That's the way they handle fires now. Do you remember that?
yeah,
He said, yes, they let them burn out. So some of the things that were, what was running through my head when I was reading about containment, the aspect of containment to keep pollutants out of any water, regardless of how the water occurs, is if you're going to let it burn and you don't have any more than I forget what the percentages of containment were. How does that impact the whole idea of safe water? It seems to me as though it tremendously impacts it. And my second question is, maybe I misunderstood something that happened a while back. That gentleman who came from the state and spoke to us about what health boards can do indicated, I thought, that we had, I know we're not making a direct decision one way or the other at this point, but he indicated we had a fair amount of, I'll say power, just for lack of a better word, to make some determinations. And it doesn't feel like that's happening at all. So that's an overriding thing that just is kind of confusing me. Maybe it's not specific enough to what we're speaking about tonight. And I don't mean to, sort of be taking us down a different path, but
yeah.
That confuses me.
So from my understanding, that was like for the original. So there's two ways that from the very beginning, right? So it was like when we did the first, we were going to do the site assignment, right? And that was like our authoritative thing. However, because this was going into the EFSB and we could intervene as like the board. So basically Shannon is our spokesperson. Like she's the one that is, because she's working full time in the town. And so she's able to kind of coordinate those things. She is the person that would then reply to these responses. And this is why we're getting together to kind of figure out like where we stand so we can, it's not necessarily, I don't think it's like a decision of like the last meeting where we're like, okay, we agree, like we're assenting or not, or we assent with conditions. I think this is more of us putting in our comments, concerns, questions that we may have. And Shannon, you can correct me. or add on to that, but that is my thought on this. And so the site assignment, if we had done that originally, it would have implicated with the EFSB at the same time, from my understanding. And so if they were doing their thing and we were doing ours, and mind you, we wouldn't even have any funds to like look up stuff on our own anyway. This is, now we have purview of all these filings that are coming through, where if we weren't interveners, we wouldn't have any of that. So obviously there's always pros and cons to everything. Now, as far as our authority on this, I think it's important that we put our input and our concerns and our questions into the filings through the EFSB so they can at least hear us. And obviously, respectfully, it's going to be their things. And from my understanding is, after all the hearings and things and all the information that we have, we can submit briefings where we can state yay or nay, we agree, we don't agree, we agree with XYZ, but we don't agree with ABC, things like that. Or, you know, we can put what we think at the end of what we consider is best practice for this situation for them to consider. So we still have a voice in some way, shape, or form, but ultimately the end result would be the EFSB deciding on what they wanted to do as far as moving forward. I think our voice matters in some way, shape, or form. I think it's beneficial that we do add things to this. But then ultimately it's always going to be, in this case, the EFSB. So we might not have like the authority, but we can have a voice in some way, shape, or form in this proceedings currently.
Okay, well, the one thing I would say then, and I'm not sure if the board would concur, but is the whole idea of containment, because every best facility I read about, the ones that I mentioned in the hearing in Virginia, for instance, have like almost like, I'm going to call it like a swimming pool underneath the whole facility. It doesn't sound like we have anything like that planned for ours. And if you're talking about potential for wetland issues or infiltration into a water supply, it would seem to me that I called it containment earlier, but I'm not sure that was the right word. But whatever that underbelly is of the entire facility is not mentioned except in passing, and it sounded like it was a portion of the facility that would be covered. That just doesn't sound like a strong enough, I'll say that, like a thorough enough plan for and I could be stupid because I've read and you know, I've never experienced one of these, but
Right.
but I've just read everything, and it just sounds to me logically that there should be at least that, and it's not in the paperwork anywhere. It's not in the containment process, which is more than just one thing.
Yeah. Anyone else?
I just think in any case, you're right, Pam. I mean, in any case, when it comes to the containment, we have to protect it. We have to, or at least say that this is a concern for us. This is a huge concern, which I keep going back to the 5.6 because that's what's going to go into the water. And, you know, I think about the hospital and other places. And I just think we need to, there's certain regulations that we have and codes that I think we need to stick to. or back.
Right.
Chris?
This was a lot. It was a lot to read, and I tried to get as much out of it as I could. And I think I'm just as confused as everybody else. It's a word salad. There's, you're reading about these other places, but I don't know. I still need to process all this.
So, Melissa, what if we make a list of the areas of these 33 pages, and there's probably maybe 3, 4, or even 5 areas that would concern us, and we sort of focus on those areas. Does that
Yeah,
make sense?
so we have until the 28th, no,
7th.
27th to submit. So we have to submit, well, we don't have to, but it would be highly recommended that we submit something
Yeah.
prior to the 27th to the EFSB regarding this. Another thing that I just thought of, and again, this is me thinking kind of like what we did the last time, and I don't know if this is even a possibility, but it's a thought process of, regardless of how the EFSB kind of rules in the motion, that there remains some type of permitting forum. So either through, and maybe through like local permitting. So, because I think that's where there's this permitting thing where they get to do that. And I don't know if we can do that because it's a state thing. So I don't even know.
I was reading the guidance that was also set from DEP with the submittal, and it says outside of zone 1, example zone 2 for groundwater sources or zone A for surface water sources on land owned or controlled by the public water system for drinking water purposes. Best require Mass DEP approval and should meet conditions specified in the guideline. So it sounds like DEP looks at their submittal if it's in a zone 2. That's what I'm gathering out of it.
Offensive coordinator Justin Daniels would love to have Rollins back in Sunday. His job was.
I'm
I
like,
think the conservation has the strongest hand. Otherwise, I think you folks know my containment is huge, okay, but my concern is at least New York, and I've said that New York has a person on site. I don't quite trust electronic systems I want a human there at all times, so they might be able to shut the power down or something before a fire starts. So that's one of my main concerns. I want somebody there. I mean, I'd like it all the time, but I don't know what we can put in there exactly. But I think New York has it 4 hours per shift or something.
Well, from what I gathered is everything is shut down from the main source, which is all done remotely. And that if something happened, our departments hear about it before anyone else. They get the information immediately. I'm not sure if you actually need someone on site. I think you need someone 24 hours watching it and ensuring all the numbers and everything is going correctly, and all the contacts are correct and all the people are in their place.
yeah, because like I would want to make sure, my thing is like I would want to make sure that any public health protections that are reflected in this section 5.6 in the Mass DEP guidance isn't weakened or bypassed because the facility is located within that zone.
Yes, they-
Like, I wouldn't want that to, like,
Yes, they do.
But why would it be it shouldn't be bypassed. Right?
I don't know, like,
Specifically,
If it was bypassed, then we have an issue with safety and health. Am I missing what you're saying?
I honestly,
get stronger.
Does this place even have generators for backup in case the power goes out? I mean, I know I'm not talking about 5.8 or 5.6, but I mean, I'm thinking more about when common sense things are gonna happen. And, to me, even Judge, I think his name was Judge there at the Emerald Court. He said, the cost of power is because of the main times when the demand is at its height. Well, if you don't think that's when the power is gonna go out, I mean, I just don't, I don't know, I'm thinking too much commonsensically about this than regulation, I guess.
I mean, because I guess I'm still kind of, and I'll use Pam's word, I guess, stupid in this right now, because I feel like I've read this thing so many times and I'm still, I understand,
I think what's
like, it sounded like
ahead.
they wanted it to like stop and end right here, that it can't move forward, right? And they wanted the EFSB to say that can't move forward because of these bylaws. That was my understanding of it, like it took a
Correct.
stop to it.
That's my understanding too.
I didn't finish reading the bylaws, so I got into adult bookstores or whatever, and I kept reading and reading, and I didn't see in the bylaws, I didn't get to a place where I saw that they applied for us. But if we're gonna be just like sending our concerns, I don't know how, that's what I understood you to say, right? Melissa, we're sending our concerns to the EFSB. That's where the point we're at, correct?
It's basically it would be the response to this petition
Right.
per se of like
Right.
what we think about it are, and it doesn't necessarily have to be agree, disagree, per se. I think it would be more of, here's what we know, here's what we're looking at, and here are comments, could be
Our-
concerns
Our
and,
concerns, right? Like,
yeah,
like the whole containment process. I just don't think and part of it, they said they would address it because it's individualized once the facility's sort of up and running or ready to get up and running. They would address some of these issues then. Even so, they haven't even addressed them in a general sense. Like, they haven't said, well, of course we'd have XYZ for 100% containment should there be a failure of some sort. And that is where my concern lies. It seems like there's not really clear information yet. I don't understand how anyone can go forward and say, oh, well, it sounds like they've thought of all the contingencies, so we're good. Because that's not true. There are just too many areas where there are still questions. You know, what do they mean by that? How much? and they don't mention even now some of the serious gas issues that I didn't see that at all. I still don't see that. So, you know, the hydrochloric acid and all those
Mhm.
different, that's not a gas, but you know what I mean? The chemical
Fumes,
concerns.
maybe.
Yeah, they don't, it's just, I don't know. I don't think it's a thorough document at all. It surprises me that someone's looking at it and not seeing that immediately. I don't understand it. Because I'm certainly not super educated or even have a total understanding of how these facilities work or anything else. But I can look at that easily and say, wait a minute, they haven't even told me what they're going to do about this. Even if it has to be more specific once the facility's actually built, once things are up and running, even if it has to be tweaked because this facility has X number of whatever, and that, you know, the facility for which this was originally designed is different, fine. But I don't see that. I see way too many open-ended things. Just like, we'll
Yeah.
fill it in when we figure it out. Well, I don't think that's helpful for anyone. But I mean, anyone looking at it, to me, I don't understand. We're not even talking a number of feet away from the facility. And I know we're not going to put anything about that tonight, but still, we're just the simplest things. So I have an opinion, sorry.
No,
That didn't really come out the way it was supposed to.
that's great. I'm, you know, as I go through this, as I'm reading this, it's confusing because what's confusing is that you have the company has people saying that I'm reading this, it's saying the company recognizes in this request for waiver that will be materials in this zone too, and they wish to not have to go through special permits to review. Stuff like that confuses me. Because you would think that because of that, I mean, what am I missing here? It's things like that where that's why I'm just, all I keep thinking about is like a list of things that I could, like, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I disagree with this, or this,
Page
or
is
this
that on,
should,
Susan?
that's on page 13. It's under
Okay.
safe drinking water. You know, it says they also want to avoid local review of its claimed compliance with the state's Stormwater Management Act.
I mean, couldn't
Seems
we
shady. That's
request,
shady.
like, couldn't, because this is, so I'm trying to put my words together. So it's intended to minimize contamination risks, correct? To like the public water supplies. That's what this is meant to do. That's the zone 2 part.
Right.
So because that's part of like the board's public health stuff, could we request that like any proposed conditions or any like records that fully, all of those things are like, those protocols are all enforced? I mean, I don't know. I don't know,
That sounds
that's
like a good idea. That sounds like a real good idea.
like that
Yeah,
it
there was
stays consistent and like we can, that, I think it's, what is it called? Like evidentiary, I don't, all these big words. But like any proposed conditions that they're fully addressed, like drinking water protection, all the measures, all stormwater incident stuff management, monitoring, all those are like enforceable response protocols. Could we,
Yeah, I
I
mean, that
mean-
would encompass a lot.
Yeah, but it
lot
is a
of
lot.
what I'm
They should
reading.
have to encompass a lot.
Right.
This is a huge undertaking. And
Exactly.
somehow it seems like somebody didn't think it all the way through. It flabbergasts me.
and I don't know if that
I
even makes,
always
like,
get-
I'm trying to make it make sense in my head and I'm not sure if that even is a thing, but like, it's prospective regulations, right? Without kind of,
You're burning home. Detained by ICE. He
Yep.
was taken away his father because of
I
Like
agree.
it
So that's at
complies
least the
with-
thing we should be able to ask for is give us a picture of what you have previously done that addressed this issue, because it's not there. Or what your real plan is to address this. It's not there.
she'll say 5-year-old me.
And
Something
requesting
stands out to
information
me.
like that, if that's what we're about, I think that's what I think that's appropriate.
Driveway Tuesday. When agents-
Something is standing out to me in that now that Susan mentioned it, I'm like really reading it and I'm like, so on page 13, it says the company recognizes and this request for waiver that there will be hazardous materials in this zone 2 and wishes to not have to go through a special permit to review of how they will be handled and whether the resources in the area, both wetlands and the public water supply, will be adequately protected for contamination. Why?
And why do they
Why
have
do
the
they
right
not,
to do that?
why do they feel like they don't need a permit? They shouldn't have to go through. And then after that, it says the company also wants to avoid legal review of its claimed compliance with the state Stormwater Management Act and handbook. The proposal is not in compliance with these. Again, why? Why do they think that they're above the law per se?
This, but this also, as we're talking and I'm looking at this also could be something that is assumed, and maybe the company knows that, but maybe there's an answer to this that we have not seen. There's a lot of information that has been discussed, and I'm sure the company knows what's right and what's wrong that we haven't seen yet. So I'm wondering.
And that's not fair. That's
but
not
I'm,
fair.
No, but I'm also wondering if this is already rectified. I'm not, I don't
If we
know.
ask the question, then they'll tell us that, Susan,
Right.
and they haven't. So,
No, I know.
Yeah.
It's just a question and I'm throwing
Yeah.
out there because those are the things that we're all questioning.
So locally, the issue is the town doesn't permit the project. It's done by the state.
Mhm.
So that's why it doesn't need a special permit.
see, I don't even understand how the state should have the right to supersede something that is beneficial or not beneficial to our town. That just blows my mind. Why?
Because
Yeah.
because
I
we
mean,
have to
I
have
would like to own chickens and not have to get a permit. No, I don't really want to, but I mean, that'd be nice. I don't think I should be subject to that stuff. Why do I have to have a dumpster? I don't want one. I mean, really, we can just now say what we don't do or don't want to follow, and someone should give us a buy for that. I don't think that's the way it works. And Susan's right. If they have addressed it somewhere else, which they could have, because every paper seems to have not the same information, just pieces of things put together, great. Then show us where it's addressed.
So what if I think the more we dig into this, we're all going to have questions or we're going to have questions about what we see. And what if we put together our list within the next, say, the next 3 days. And,
Hold on.
I mean, today's what? Today's, the next 2 days.
Yeah, today's
So
Thursday.
we would need it,
Okay.
so because then we have to also write it up and it has to be professional and all that fun
Okay.
stuff and so it's due on Tuesday.
All right. So
And
by,
today's
let's say,
Thursday. So I
by
would
the end
say
of
like by the end of
Saturday.
Friday, so that Monday
Friday.
morning Shannon has all these things so we can, I mean, I don't even know, is that a lot, Shannon?
And I'm sure they're all going to, I bet they will all be the same questions, the same concerns, not questions, but I guarantee it will all be the same concerns. Because it's
Are we
not
sending
every,
them to Melissa or Shannon?
Send it to
Send-
Shannon,
Yep, send them to me.
Shannon,
yeah,
lucky Shannon.
so that we don't, she'll share them with me, but it's just so that we don't do the whole open meeting law
Right,
kind
yeah,
of deal.
Right.
Don't want that at all, so yeah, send them to Shannon, she'll share with me. Or if you share it with me, I can share it with Shannon, but just to keep it consistent, send them to Shannon. I mean, if you guys can, I know this is probably a lot, but if you can do it by like tomorrow night, like tomorrow, that would be great. I know Shannon probably wouldn't get it until Monday unless she wants to look at her email over the weekend, which I doubt.
If she's bored, you know.
I mean, I would look at my email over the weekend, but I know she won't. But that's like my fear of missing out, my FOMO. But it also gives me a break too, so I think
yeah, you
I
probably
mean,
need it.
I think like I would want to know, for me, like I would want to know how they're going to demonstrate like how the water and drinking water protections would still be implemented and enforced. Like I would want to know that.
And from what I'm reading, it's, for instance, they're saying, I guess is it Medway Grid that they hired to do some work for them? They're regarding the groundwater resources. I mean,
So
they're
that-
saying that,
That's there's a best facility in Medway.
In Medway, that's the best facility in
So, right.
Medway.
the projects. But okay, that's fine. I was just thinking of the footage. They were talking about the footage that they needed from wellhead protection areas. Is there a, does anyone know if there's a specific, the wellhead protection area has to be how many feet from the project? Is it 100 feet or 200 feet? No.
That's in some paperwork. I remember reading it.
Yep.
I wanted to remember that it was 100 feet, but my memory could be off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Medway had that problem and they're stating they were 4,000 feet away, so. Anyway,
Well, it's like in Virginia where they don't allow any facility within 2 miles of people. That's kind of concerning. You know. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, because we also don't want to. We don't want to overclaim like authority, right? In a way, because it could backfire to us. We want to really focus, and I think that's where we're at anyway. I think all of us are in this place where we just want to ensure, like, we want answers, we want clarity, and we want to ensure that everything is like set into a place where we have these answers. We can look at those things and be like, okay, this fits what we're looking for. This still is questionable, whatever, like different areas. I think that's really where our strongest lane would be in this. Um,
I agree.
Most combinations, the average makes you get 3 from Stenders.
versus like you can or can't do this. um,
And I don't think any of us feel that way. I think we're happy with being able to, I'm speaking for myself, I guess. I'm happy being able to just give my thoughts on what I feel about certain things and having someone listen to it.
Yeah, the
Instead of
having someone
demanding.
listen to it part is the problem I have. But yeah, I agree with you, Susan.
no comment. Yeah, so is everyone kind of in agreement of getting things together, putting some questions, concerns, thoughts? We can kind of put, you all can put it separately, send it to Shannon, and we can figure out, okay, how do we put these in our comments and concerns for this? And that way we have
Tomorrow's
Monday
Friday,
and
Yeah, tomorrow's
Yeah.
Friday, so I think if that's our deadline, we have
yeah, because
time.
that way if she can see it on Monday, so like even if you do it over the weekend, as long as she has it first thing Monday morning, like 8 a.m. Monday morning, she has that already in her email. So she can start looking at that. She can start reviewing it. She can share it with myself. We can look at it, kind of, I'll look at stuff, she'll look at stuff, and then that way, because we have until Tuesday, is there a time frame by Tuesday? Like, what is it,
I don't think so.
like Tuesday, 11:59 p.m.?
Yeah, I don't.
But I would say that way it gives us enough time, like Monday to review, kind of put things together, set it up, and then Tuesday with a fresh head, maybe look at it again, and then send it off before the 5 p.m., deadline kind of thing.
And I think we'll all have time because we're getting a massive storm.
Yeah.
So they
Exactly.
say.
So
I'm
no
gonna be in my
shoveling.
house till the spring.
No breaking your backs on shoveling, and this goes for everyone. Bend your knees, everyone. Separate. But that way, I mean, I know it's kind of a time crunch, but I think it would help possibly to get some ideas and things and put it through. And this way it's coming from everyone. And then I think the only thing that we could vote on or put a motion towards is that you're going to allow myself and Shannon to review those notes and put it together to submit in what we feel is the best methodology to E EFSB.
That's fair.
Yes,
Right.
I agree.
I'm in agreement.
Okay, so we'll need a motion, I think, just to keep it legit in case. Because again, totally new, but just so that we have it in the books. So do we have a motion to allow myself and Shannon to review everyone's notes and comments and concerns, put it all together in a way that makes sense to submit to the E EFSB by the deadline of Tuesday?
I motion to allow both of you to put together our notes for submittal.
So,
I'll second that.
okay, so motion put forward by Susan, seconded by George, and we'll have to do a roll call for everyone. So we'll just go in order. Chris,
Yeah, I agree. Yes.
okay, Susan,
I agree.
Pam,
Yay.
I agree.
George.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Motion passes unanimously. Okay. So we'll do all of that. Okay. Great. Now we can have time to review even more of those 33 pages. Okay. Awesome.
Well, I think we went through a lot of the important ones, and I think we're focused on where we need to
Yeah.
look and focus.
I mean, I think, yeah, definitely emphasizing that zone 2, which is something that is part of our health and wellness kind of thing. And then what does that look like? Okay. The second thing that we added was and let me get that up. Was where is it? The third, so it was the Energy Facility Siting Board's like third set of information requests to the Hillman. Yeah, so the EFSB asked Hillman for more detail on certain things. So basically, there was some questions that the EFSB felt were unanswered, so they wanted some answers to that. So Hillman replied, from my understanding, because I kind of briefed through that. So
Did we get that, Melissa? I didn't see it.
yeah, it was Shannon sent that out just when was that, Shannon, that you sent that out? Was it yesterday?
I
Oh,
think I sent it out when I got it on
I thought
Wednesday.
I
and then I
yeah.
printed
was-
everything. All right, I'll look.
It
back
might have
for
been
it.
Wednesday, or yeah, because today's what? Yeah, so yeah, I think it was yesterday.
And then I
Okay.
resent it this morning.
Yep.
All right.
So
I'll send it again.
some of the questions and was like, how close is this site to sensitive people compared to the sites that were rejected? I think that was one of the questions that was on there. And I could be like, because I read so much stuff that I could be messing that up, but there was a couple of questions and then they submitted their responses. And so I'm trying to get their third setup. I have it somewhere here and now where is it?
Oh, I have it in front of me. It says third set of information requests. Is that the one we're looking at?
Yes.
All right, I have that up in front of me. Oh,
Yeah.
right here.
So that's about 2 pages. So they so it was like compare the project site with the eliminated candidate sites in terms of proximity to residential neighborhoods and other sensitive receptors, including but not limited to assisted living and memory care facilities. So this is all the two. And then they had some questions on the safety, which refer to the supplement to initial pre-filed testimony without completion of the HMA and EOP, which incorporate final decisions about the design and makeup of the best installation and its operations, required level of safety. So I think we can probably do the same thing because I'm guessing many of you haven't looked at this, but I'm not sure if we need to necessarily comment, but we can, because this is like the discovery period, so we can ask questions or ask for more information regarding these responses and also ask for more clarity from my understanding too. So I think if you all want to have time during our wonderful weekend of snow, we can also we also have more time to respond to this one. I think it's until February 4th. Thank you. So we have until February 4th to respond to this, but I would still suggest that we don't leave it for last minute for Shannon and I, mostly Shannon, to review. But if everyone is in agreement, I would also suggest kind of the same thing that we just did for the first one, is everybody review it, ask any questions, comments, concerns, things like that, and submit them to Shannon and we can incorporate them all.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And that way, I mean, I think that would give us some time to look. Again, this is new. I don't even,
I also wonder if we can't, I'm assuming during the hearings, we could ask questions on this.
yes. I believe so because they have testimony. We don't have witnesses to present, so we don't have anybody that is going to be questioned per se, but we can ask questions to those witnesses. Now, I'm not certain, and I can't remember if I read it or I didn't read it. If we have to submit that in advance.
I don't know, but I believe we don't.
I didn't think so either. I think this discovery period is where you can go back and forth and ask those questions and things, and those things get in. But then I think when it's the hearing, so like I wouldn't be able to ask, but Shannon could ask. Like I can be there listening, but I can't ask anything because Shannon is like the voice of us. So thank you.
You're welcome. Attorney Gillis, how may I help?
Esquire.
Esquire Limited, LLC.
Extremely limited.
Esquire LLC. Yeah. Won't go there. But yeah, so I think if we want to do a motion on that as well, so that it's in the record that we're motioning that we're all in agreement, if everyone is in agreement, obviously, to move ahead and do that. So if you submit stuff, and I would say you can submit that by, Shannon, what do you think?
Let's see.
It's due on the 4th.
Mhm.
That's Wednesday, the 4th. I would, give it a week, so the 29th.
That's
That's
what I
a-
was gonna say too.
That's a week. So that gives us a little bit more time. So that's next Thursday, the 29th. Does anyone want to do that motion or something else? You don't have to do what I'm saying. Just so you all know.
I would like to do the motion to
Okay.
submit the information to both, is it both of you? I'm just going to submit it to
Shannon.
Shannon
Mhm.
so that you can take a look at it and combine our information, our
By the
questions, our concerns
By the 29th?
by the 29th.
Okay. So a motion has been put forward for everyone to submit their questions, concerns, comments regarding the third IR set from Hillman to Shannon on or before February. Let me put my
January.
calendar up. January. Thank you.
29th.
January 29th. That motion has been put forward by Susan.
And I second.
Seconded by Chris. So now we got to do roll call again. So, Chris,
Yes.
Aye.
Susan,
Yes.
Pam,
Yes,
George.
I,
Chair votes aye as well. Motion passes unanimously, so we'll be able to do that. And that way it's all across the board. Everybody's information and input is put in and through, and we can make some comments on that. So, great. Sounds like a plan. So anything else that anyone wants to discuss that is on the agenda regarding this, or are we good?
I'm good.
I think we're good.
Okay, so do we have a motion to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn.
Okay,
I'll second that motion.
all right, motion put forward by Susan, seconded by George. I guess we still have to do a roll call of everyone in favor. So Chris,
Aye.
Susan,
Aye.
Pam, can't
I
hear you. Pam?
said aye.
Oh,
Not hear me.
George?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. It is 7:01 p.m. Thank you, everyone, and stay safe this weekend, stay warm, and looking forward to what comes up. Thanks.
Thank you
Have
so
a good
much.
night.
Thank
Night.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.